Here's a fact that's going to bother you for the rest of your life. The Ford Mustang is not named after the horse. Every single person you know is wrong about this, including you probably. The car was named after a World War II fighter plane, the P-51 Mustang, and the horse logo came second. The plane came first. I've been obsessed with this car since I was 11 years old, and I didn't learn this until a few years ago. These are 12 weird things about the Ford Mustang. And the bonus fact, let's just say Ford once built a Mustang that makes 1,502 horsepower, and nobody can buy it. Buckle up. How does a fighter plane end up as the name of the best-selling muscle car in American history? The answer starts with a designer named Philip Clark, who worked on the original Mustang design team in the early 1960s at Ford's Dearborn, Michigan studio. Clark was obsessed with the P-51 Mustang fighter, the plane that helped win the Second World War. He pushed hard for the name. And when the galloping horse logo got slapped on later, Clark personally insisted it run to the left, which is the wrong direction for a racing horse. The horse on your Mustang has been running the wrong way for 60 years. I personally think this is the most underrated piece of trivia in the entire American car industry. Number 2. The Mustang almost never existed. Henry Ford II initially rejected the project. He thought a small, sporty car was a waste of money. Lee Iacocca, the man who would later save Chrysler, pitched it anyway and basically bet his entire career on it. Iacocca was told if the Mustang flopped, he was finished at Ford. It launched on April 17th, 1964, at the New York World's Fair. Iacocca was about to either become a legend or get fired. Number 3. He became a legend. The first day the Mustang went on sale, Ford dealers sold 22,000 cars in 24 hours. That's not a typo. 22,000. Enough Mustangs lined up bumper to bumper to cover more than 60 football fields. One dealer in Garland, Texas had 15 people bidding on the same single car. A buyer named Harry Phillips was so scared someone would outbid him that he slept in the Mustang overnight in the dealership lot. The dealer had to wake him up in the morning to finish the paperwork. And no, I'm not making that up. But that was only round 1. Number 4. The Mustang didn't just sell well, it accidentally invented an entire class of car. The term pony car didn't exist before the Mustang. Chevrolet had absolutely nothing to compete with it for 2 full years. The Camaro didn't arrive until 1966. The Challenger didn't show up until 1970. Every muscle car you can name, the Camaro, the Challenger, the AMC Javelin, exists because Ford caught the entire industry with their pants down. The Mustang sold 1 million units in 18 months. 1 million. That's enough cars to fill up the parking lot of every NFL stadium in America twice over. Number 5. Steve McQueen's 1968 Bullitt Mustang, the green fastback from the most famous car chase in movie history, disappeared for 40 years. It vanished after filming. Ford didn't have it. McQueen didn't have it. Hollywood didn't have it. Then in 2017, a guy in New Jersey named Sean Kiernan walked into a Mustang convention and said, "Hey, I have it in my driveway." His dad had bought it in 1974 for $6,000. In 2020, the car sold at Mecum auction for $3.4 million, which is the kind of number that makes accountants cry. Number 6. I mean, think about that for a second. There is a Mustang out there worth more than most people's houses because it was in a movie, and it is not even the most valuable Mustang ever built. Number 7. The 1967 Shelby GT500 Super Snake is one of the rarest cars on planet Earth. Carroll Shelby, the legendary racer, built exactly one. Just one. He drove it personally at Goodyear's test track in Texas at 170 miles per hour, which is faster than most race cars at the time. In 2019, that single Super Snake sold at auction for $2.2 million. One car. No siblings. No production run. If you're finding this interesting, do me a favor and subscribe. This channel is just 2 guys obsessed with weird car history, and subscribing actually helps us make more of these. Now let's get weirder. Alright, here's where things get kind of strange. Number 8. The Mustang II, built in the mid-1970s, is the ugliest car Ford has ever made. Critics hated it. Enthusiasts still mock it. But during the 1973 oil crisis, when gas was rationed and Americans were trading in their muscle cars for anything that sipped fuel, the Mustang II sold 1.1 million units in 5 years. Ford engineers today quietly call it the ugly duckling that kept the bloodline alive. Without the Mustang II, there is no Mustang today. That ugly little car saved the entire nameplate. Number 9. The Boss 429 engine was so massive that Ford literally could not fit it into a Mustang without cutting the car apart. The engine was too wide. the shock towers were in the way. So Ford sent every single Boss 429 Mustang to an outside contractor called Carcraft, who manually cut out the shock towers and rebuilt the front end. Only 1,358 were ever built. Each one was hand-modified. One sold at auction in 2021 for $400,000. That's more than buying a nice house in most parts of the country. Number 10. A Mustang paced the Indianapolis 500 in May of 1964, just weeks after the car went on sale. The pace car had been driven by Benson Ford, Henry Ford's grandson. It was a complete marketing accident. Ford wasn't trying to pace the race. The Indy 500 board just wanted the hottest new car in America, and the Mustang qualified by sheer popularity alone. The pony car wasn't even a month old, and it was already leading the most famous race in the country. Number 11. Carroll Shelby was so cheap about shipping costs that he once registered a Shelby GT35OR as a street-legal car and had driver Ken Miles drive it 200 miles to the race. Miles drove it to the track, won the race outright, and drove it home. A race-modified car with zero sound deadening, screaming through suburban streets of Texas. That specific GT35OR later sold at auction for $3.85 million. If you're wondering how that's even legal, so is everyone else. Number 12. The 2020 Shelby GT500 has a flat-plane crank V8, making 760 horsepower, which is basically the horsepower of 4 regular family sedans stacked on top of each other. 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. Quarter mile in 10.7 seconds. That's faster off the line than a Lamborghini Huracan. A Mustang beating a Lambo in a straight line. Now for the bonus. Ford secretly built an all-electric Mustang drag car called the Cobra Jet 1400. It makes 1,502 horsepower, which is the equivalent of stacking 7.5 regular cars' worth of power into a single vehicle. It runs the quarter mile in under 8 seconds. Ford never sold a single one to the public. If you told someone in 1964 that an electric Mustang would one day make more than double the horsepower of a Shelby GT500, they would have laughed you out of the dealership. From a fighter plane name to a World's Fair launch to a silent electric rocket, the Mustang proved that a bet one man made on his career can turn into 60 years of American obsession. And the horse on your Mustang is still running the wrong way. If you learned something absolutely wild today that rewired your understanding of the most iconic car in American history, smash that like button and subscribe for more facts that'll take your knowledge into overdrive.